Blog Talk Radio.
Everybody, is the last day of 2014, and what a year it has been. My name is Lisa A. Snyder. You're listening to the Losing Your Parents International Radio Show. In case you do not know, I have lost both of my parents to cancer. My dad passed away the day before my 23rd birthday, and my mom passed away when I was 27. I was both present for their end-of-life experience, their illness with cancer, and when they transitioned. And it changed my life forever, and I have dedicated myself to learning ways of moving through life's challenges that come up, and definitely not perfect, but I'm trying to just find my way like every other human being who has lost a parent. So my goal is to figure out stuff that doesn't work for me and figure out how it's going to work better, and then to share that information with other people so they want to use it to move forward in their own lives. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about New Year's intentions. So like I said, today's the last day of 2014. We're moving into New Year, a new you. I would like you to think about, as I think about this for myself, what are your New Year's intentions? And I like this better than resolutions, because I think resolutions it has like a negative undertone. It's like what you didn't resolve already. But I think intentions are setting yourself up for success as far as what you intend to do with your year. So if part of your world is moving through and moving forward on some grief related to your parents, starting to think about what does that look like. If it's not parent related, that's okay too. Like there's some things that we want to move forward in our lives, but some grief things hold us back, or other things in our lives hold us back. So I just wanted to share with you something super awesome that has really helped me in the last 5 years of my life. I started working with a life coach. Her name is Stephanie Ziv. She's been on the Today Show. And we were doing some work together about 5 years ago, and I had visualized what my life was going to be like in 5 years. And one of my visualizations was to be in a house, the opening of the door and to people in my house. And I think at the time I had hopes to have children at that time. So 5 years later, fast forward to I do have a house now, and I do open the door to people who show up at my house. And I don't have children yet, but I was told by a psychic that I have children in spirit and that they are waiting around with my mom. And I do have furry children, so some things have manifested. I definitely, at the time, did not have a partner, and I do now, and I'm very thankful for her. Her name is Catherine. So the reason why I'm talking about Stephanie is because she's branching into a new place in her work here in the world, and it's called On the Hook. So if you Google Stephanie Ziv, if you go to her website, stephanieziv.com, you'll see that I think that there's a link for her Facebook page. It's a group, and I'll also post this on my website as well. It's a group of people who are just trying to help each other stay on target with their intentions for the year. And so I'm going to be a part of this group, and I'm going to be sharing some things with the group, some intentions that I have. And so a few of them I'd like to share out loud. I will be creating a video for this, but let me grab my notebook. All right, so my intentions for 2015. So around this time next year, I will be celebrating my first official book being published. I have my first draft almost done, and by the end of January, I hope to have the next, the first draft finished, and then be working towards polishing that up, etc. And so by next year, this time, I'd like to be celebrating with you that my book is published, and that at least 100 people have read it. That would be a goal that I have, and just putting it out there to the universe. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have at least one or more paid online products for my business. So those of you who don't know, I have a web design business, and I have a lot of information. I've been doing it for a really long time, and I'm going to give away some secrets that I've been hesitant to, but I feel like is probably just the best idea, because I think that a lot of people could benefit from these secrets that I'm going to give out. So my goal would be around this time to be celebrating the paid products, one or more, for my business. Another thing is I really want to be part of a team. This is my third thing that I'd like to be celebrating, being part of a team, whether that's like something as small as like a volleyball team, or volunteering with a team, or being a part of a team of people that do things, that have a common goal. I work for myself, so things are a little bit different. I don't have coworkers. My common goal is usually with my clients, one-on-one, really trying to accomplish what they are trying to accomplish. And then the fourth thing is I want to feel more energy. And so how do I do that? I'm going to be implementing a daily morning practice, whether that is a meditation, going to yoga, doing movement, like going for a walk. Something will happen in my mornings that I am going to be doing. So I'm putting that out there. Instead of just saying that to myself, I'm putting it out there to everybody so we can all hear that I have this intention and, help me, be supportive of what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I'm sharing this with you because I think what Stephanie is doing is really powerful, and the thing that's really important isn't just like I want to, lose weight and exercise and blah, blah, blah. It's getting very clear and very specific about what are those goals, and more importantly, what are the things that you are going to do in the next month, next 3 months, next 6 months, and next 9 months to accomplish that goal. So, for example, getting my book published. I'm going to, within the first month, finish my first draft. And so now what does finishing my first draft look like, breaking that down? It means scheduling time each day or during the week to write for a certain amount of time and to work on it and to focus and to shut off the internet and to shut off the world and just try to focus on this task. It's really hard to focus sometimes with all of the technology and all the social media and all these things. So so that's one way I'm going to do it. And the same thing with the products. I have to schedule time in to write what it is that I'm doing. And then the next step would probably be to do videos for these things. And the team part, researching what's possible, kind of playing around with what kind of team do I feel like I want to be a part of. I mentioned volleyball because I like volleyball, maybe volunteering for a team effort. I really want to meet other people and I want to interact with people. I want to interact with souls like on a daily basis. And working from home and working on the computer and talking on the phone is a beautiful thing, but I also want to be a part of a team where I can like look other people in the eye and share a common experience. And that's actually really become more and more important to me, especially moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, where I had like a community of people on the East Coast, people I've grown up with, people I've met along the way, community that I made. And here in Portland, Oregon, I have some friends, and it's all coming around very slowly, slow and steady. But I'm anxious to have that feeling inside of really being a part of something bigger. And then as far as the energy goes, I'm going to look into a naturopath and contacting them, finding out how much they are, and going to see them. I want to find out what my vitamins situation is like and start taking some vitamins that are going to help me instead of crossing my fingers hoping that I might need more vitamin D and taking it. So getting more clear about those things. I'm sharing this with you because I think it's a really good idea to start anew. Everyone's just talking about, it's a new year, it's New Year's resolutions, intentions. What is it that you want to accomplish this year? Where do you want to be this time next year? What do you want to be saying? How do you want to be feeling? Do you want to feel more happy? Do you want to feel less sadness? Do you want to feel less guilt? Do you want to feel like you've moved out of that weird living situation that you're in and move into your own place or buy a house, or it may be something as simple as cleaning up the junk room that's been sitting around, or, in relation to parental things, maybe you have been waiting a long time to go through a box that's been sitting there that you need to go through, but it's going to be really tough. So one of the things that you could do is write your intention, maybe in January. By the end of January, that box will be totally empty and it will be in the recycling bin, because everything inside that box is going to be out, and it's going to be sorted. And so there's a bunch of things you can do. You can donate things, you can give them away, you can take pictures of them and remember what it is that was in that box. You can make something from those things in the box. There's a lot of things that you could do with those things. I'm just using that as an example. If you have been feeling sad and do not have a therapist, I really highly recommend that this is the year that you decide to start looking into what kind of therapist might be good for you. Goodtherapy.org has a great resource, is a great resource for searching for a therapist. So is Psychology Today. And if you don't have insurance, there are plenty of people out there who are sliding scale. There's also grief groups. Meetup.com is a great resource if you're living in or around a city. They have people who just start their own groups. I was one of those people that started my own group in New Jersey. Specifically, it was for women. But you might find that you connect more with other people. They're not necessarily counselors, but maybe this is the year you decide to go to therapy, because I think a therapist is a really good person who can kind of hold your hand along the journey of grief as you move through this. Maybe you're not quite ready yet for a therapist, but you're interested in reading. I have a ton of books that I recommend on my website, losingyourparents.org. That's on the sidebar. And if you scroll down to grief, it's grief books that have helped me. Pick out one that you feel like you want to try on, buy it from Amazon or wherever, and try to start the journey into what is it that's going to help you move forward. I think that going back to therapy, I think it's a great tool to go to a therapist who is a neutral person, someone who isn't a friend or a relative that can really hear where you're at. Some therapists specialize in grief, some don't. But I think grief is a general thing that a lot of people understand on the basic level of everybody grieves. Everyone's grieving something right now, whether it's a parent or a child or a friend, death-wise, or a job or a relationship. There's always something to grieve, and I think that having tools to grieve is going to be a part of the process of your life, because there's always going to be somebody that's here and gone, and there's always going to be something that's here and gone. The only thing constant is change. I really love that quote. I have to figure out, I think it was this woman, I don't remember her name though. It's a black lesbian woman who died at 101, and she had, these three minorities going for her, a lesbian woman, 100 years ago, that's a big deal. A black woman and being a woman. All these things that she was she had a face with the world. And she had such a positive outlook. She was moving and grooving up until she died. And I think that I find that so motivating and so beautiful. And you have to remember the only thing constant is change. As soon as you figure out, like, wow, something's really working for me, bam, life kind of hits you with something that is not working so well. You have to adjust. And life is constantly adjusting and readjusting. And when you don't accept what you have in front of you, it causes an immense amount of pain. So what is it that you're not accepting about your life situation right now? What is it that you do accept? Here's something so tiny, very, very small example, but I used to have like the crappiest car in the world, and then I bought myself a car, paying it off. And it's nice. I like to keep it nice inside. It's got leather seats, and our dog Ziggy, he goes for rides sometime in the car, and he's been putting nose prints all over the car. And I noticed that I was like, oh, it's not going to be clean. It's not going to be clean. And I noticed the pain that was like around that. It was so small, such a tiny little thing. I'm using this as a tiny, tiny example. But the pain of not accepting these nose prints were on there, I was like, it's so not a big deal. I can just clean them off. You know, it's just something I liked before, and now it's different, and I have to accept the change. And so that's a small-scale thing. So I'm asking you to question something that is that you're resisting in your life, and how maybe there's one thing that you can sort of turn around and just accept. So on a big scale, releasing resistance around the fact that maybe a parent has died, and releasing resistance around maybe you have to take the reins now of your family and be the person who's trying to keep it all together, or release resistance from the fact that life isn't going to be the same. There's a lot of things. I highly suggest like getting a piece of paper and writing out all the things that are on your mind, so that if you're not sure what you want to focus on this year in 2015, write down all the things that like you're like, this is bothering me, you know, just so you can start to get it off of your chest and onto paper, so you can then see it. Then you can really start to figure out, like, what is it that I actually want to work on? Because I can't work on 14,000 things, but I can work on 2. You know, chewable bites are going to be the most successful when it comes to setting intentions for 2015. So, and also being realistic. Like, I want to lose 100 pounds and, you know, get into my skinny jeans. Like, is that realistic for you? Or maybe is it like, you know, in the next couple months, I'd like to lose 10 pounds. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut out sugar as best I can, cut out drinking as best I can, move more, and by moving more, getting up and going for a walk. Like, whatever those things are, getting really clear and specific about, okay, you want these things to happen, how are you going to make them happen? And making chewable bites and keeping yourself accountable. And so if you can tell somebody else what you're planning to do, a friend or a family member, or like I said, Stephanie has this thing that it's free. It's, you know, just join it. It's the On the Hook movement. And, you know, just posting some of the things that you're going to be working on, it is, you know, putting yourself out there. It's being vulnerable. So if it's emotions related, you may not want to do that, but, you know, I mean, put it out there like on video or out there to the cyber world or whatever, but put it out there to yourself, put it out there to somebody else. I'm telling you what I'm trying to intend for this. So the more that you tell people what you're going to do, the more energy it has. And the more that you can really focus on what it is that you want in your life. You know, I think everybody wants more joy and more peace. And how do you achieve those things? You have to figure out what's not working and start to break away from those things that aren't working anymore, and start to let in the things that do work or that you do want. And sometimes I notice that people want something, but they're not willing to do any work around it. And so how in the world can you achieve something if you're not willing to do even just one step of the work involved? And sometimes it's not even that much, you know? Like, I'm just using simple examples from my own life. I have not lived in New Jersey for a year, and it's been a little over a year. I still have New Jersey license plates in my car. I still have my New Jersey license, and I still had my Easy Pass up until yesterday. And one step I needed to take, I put it on a to-do list, was to send back my Easy Pass. And so how do I do that? There's no directions anywhere, and so I had to find it in, like, the PDF online of how to close your account. And it's like, it's not easy. It's not like click a button and you're done. You have to, like, mail it back. You have to write them a letter. You have to send it to a specific address. And sometimes the details can get really overwhelming. It sounds really easy, but sometimes, like, I notice that I get locked up in details. Something like, and checking in with somebody else. If all the things on my list are, like, things that I can control, I have an easier time moving forward. But if I need to check in with somebody else, or if someone needs to get back to me, it just, like, slows down the process of exchanging. And so I start to get overwhelmed about that. So I'm feeling that way about my car registration, because I don't own my car totally, and therefore I need to get the title. I don't have the title. The loan company has the title, and the loan company is like, you need to contact this phone number, or this address, and I get, like, lost in the details of it. So one of my intentions, I guess I'm putting out there, is in 2015, I'll have all my registration stuff. I'll have an Oregon license, and I will also have my car licensed and registered in Oregon. There we go. So these simple things, but it really bothers me driving around, and, like, my license plate still says New Jersey, and I feel like that's just the past. The past is, like, literally following me on my car. And if the past is following you around, what can you control? What is it that you have control over? Like I mentioned a box earlier, going through a box of your parents' stuff, maybe. I'm just thinking, like, this is kind of just popped in my head. Maybe there's a shirt of your mother's that has a hole in it, and you're like, you've been avoiding even just sewing the button on that shirt or fixing the hole, because you don't want to be reminded of your mother. Or, I don't know. I don't have a shirt, but I just was thinking about it. And maybe you need to let go of the shirt, or it needs to be turned into a pillow or something else. Turn things that don't make you happy into something that actually brings you joy. Because having stuff around you, or things or feelings around you that doesn't make you feel happy, you have no room to let the happiness in, to let the light in, and to let the joy in. So we got about 7 minutes left. I'm trying to think about, so an intention I actually had about this house, and how powerful intentions are, is we were living in this RV. We'd crossed the country in this RV that we had. And by the way, we're selling our RV. We don't have any bites on it yet, but we are. And so I had written on the mirror in dry erase, which is actually cool. If you get dry erase markers, you can write on mirrors and, like, write little notes to yourself. So I wrote, our house is waiting for us in a peaceful, I don't remember all the details of it, but I just remember writing, our house is patiently waiting for us. And so writing that intention in the present tense is really important. It's not, and to use the words that don't use negative. So our house is patiently waiting for us. It's present tense. Our house is patiently waiting for us. And when I saw this house, I felt like, how in the world did somebody not snatch this house up? I have no idea. I remember feeling that way, because I was like, this house must be patiently waiting for us. So as far as, like, going back to one of my intentions with my book, I am easily completing my first draft of my book in the month of January, by January 30th, or before. So you want something like what you want, or something better. Like, for instance, with my my business products, I mentioned that I'd like to create one or more online products. So my intention is to do one or more. If more happens, awesome. I would also like to say that these intentions, putting them out there into the universe and looking at them and reading them, they give them energy. I used to write, I want X amount of dollars to Y amount of dollars every month. And that was a really important intention for me because I'm working for myself. I need to sustain my life. And it didn't happen overnight, but it took a couple of years to actually get to that amount of money that I was hoping for. And when I got there and sustained that, I was ecstatic. I could not believe that just simply putting it out there and focusing on it, and obviously making sure stuff's flowing in. It just doesn't magically happen. You have to do actions to get yourself to that point. But when you do that, when you put yourself out there to the universe and you ask for what you want, the universe wants to provide it. Maybe that sounds hokey, but I've always tried that on and have received beautiful things and beautiful gifts and amazing things in my path because I've been putting it out there to the universe. So start writing down your intentions for 2015. If you're not sure what your intentions are, write like on a big piece of paper or a small piece of paper, just everything that's on your mind that you want change from, and then pick like 3 things that you really, really want to focus on this year. And imagine yourself 1 year from today, so December 31st, 2015, what do you want to be feeling? Do you want to stay stagnant? Do you want to stay in whatever place you are? I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, unless you are just like, this is where I'm at, I love where I'm at, and I just feel so good. And I think even then there's always like room for improvement. We're here to learn lessons. We're here to be on this planet learning lessons, and one of these lessons is losing parents, and that sucks really bad. It really sucks, especially if you lose them young. You don't get to spend time with them like everybody else does. I know what that feels like, and so my intention is to try and find other ways in my life that I can be happy, and if I don't feel happy, to try and figure out what it is that's not making me happy and try and tweak. So to be honest with you, I haven't been happy, and I'm trying to get clear about the things that are going to make me happy. And so one of those things I mentioned earlier is naturopath and feeling more energy and going to yoga and doing meditation, because those things are important to me. I think about them all the time, but that something stops me. And so I really want to get clear about what's stopping me. Sometimes it's something as simple as like, I don't have anything to wear to yoga that I feel comfortable in. Or like, it may sound silly, but like, you know, for women, like we've got boobs and I don't want my boobs sticking out. I don't want them hanging out. I need something that covers them. And I don't want to worry about if my cleavage is showing during yoga. You know, like it's these simple things that like, but I sometimes get stopped in my own tracks because I don't have anything that I think will work for a shirt. So figuring that out, getting really detailed about what's going to help you to have a better 2015, to have a happier 2015, and to ultimately just have a happier life, because everything you do today and tomorrow is going to be your tomorrow. Everything I did yesterday is my today. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Everything I did to get to this point in my life, I did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. Worked really hard on my credit. I saved up money. I figured out what I wanted, and I went for it. And here I am, just trying to live my life. So I want to wish you a very, very happy New Year. I hope everybody has a fun time tonight doing whatever it is that you want to do tonight. Set your intentions. Ask the universe for what you want. And, sending you lots of love.